There is nothing wrong with your podcast streaming service. We now control your device. This is not a test. This is Podcast of the Paranormal. Close your curtains and stay away from your windows. Lock your doors, turn off your lights. Get your snacks and drinks ready. Get to your basement or attic. The podcast is about to begin. I'm Gabrielle, and I am here with Jeff.
Hello.
And Jody.
Hello.
And this is our first episode of our podcast of the paranormal. Today, we're going to be introducing ourselves to you and letting you know a little bit about what we do and what we plan to bring to you through this podcast. And we also plan to touch on some other topics. So I guess we could just jump right in, huh? Who wants to start and introduce themselves first?
I think that's going to be you.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
It has to be me.
Yeah, I think it has to be you.
We live in NEPA, or northeastern Pennsylvania. And we investigate here locally, but we do also travel within a few hours distance for our investigations at times. I personally have been a paranormal investigator since about 2009, both on and off, but mostly off. I did start investigating in college with a group at Penn State. Not that group, different time, different campus. But I did really jump back into it around 2019 when I was back in school for my master's. It was kind of my self-care at the time that I drug my husband, Jody, into with me. And I've always, since I was young, been interested in the paranormal, always exploring things in different ways. I really think that my love for all of this started with Scooby-Doo at a really young age. I also lived in a haunted house growing up, so there's always some kind of experiences going on. I'm also a licensed social worker. I'm working towards my clinical license at this time. So I also bring my social work perspective to our paranormal investigations. And what does that mean? I don't know. I'm just kidding.
Well, no, that's a good point. Let's talk about that for a little bit.
We can.
What can that bring to our team, actually?
So I view situations through the lens of broader social, economic, and environmental factors and the ways that they influence not only individuals, but the communities as a whole. And I can even work that into when we're speaking to spirits and ghosts, right? Utilizing the social work values that we have. What were their situations in life? How might they be affecting them now in the afterlife? While also being empathetic towards, their situations, allowing spirits to have agency, dignity, worth, yet still remembering that the living are our clients. So that's kind of a balance that I bring here to our group. That's enough about me. Who wants to go next?
I'll take it next. Hi, I'm Jody. I'm married to Gabrielle. She brought me along on this crazy adventure. I am, at heart, a skeptic. You really have to try to convince me to believe any of this kind of stuff is real. But over the past 5 years, I've had quite a few experiences, some which we'll get into eventually, but I can't discount what I have seen or experienced, and I'm just really happy to be jumping into this and kind of doing this as not only a hobby, but it's kind of like something I want to do with my life, to get away from the everyday, boring slog of work and whatever life brings your way.
I totally agree with that.
Oh yeah, I also graduated from Penn State University, and I got into this ghost hunting stuff from, that team, watching their show on television, because they kind of started a lot of it. They started it all, and then you had other shows coming on that were, kind of doing the same thing. So, it always kept me entertained. But now that I get to do this stuff and I'm learning some of the tools and methods, I'm really getting into it. I really like it. So it's kind of been like like a hobby, an excuse to get away and go on trips, and not only learn how to do this stuff, but also like you get some history of these places that you visit, which is really it's really entertaining. It's just something that you could basically add to your knowledge, basically. You know what I mean? It's like reading a book. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much what I got for me. I hate talking about myself.
Now it's Jeff's turn.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jeff.
Hey.
Here, let me introduce Jeff, because Jeff and I work together, and
That is true.
Jeff is a weirdo like me, and he found out that we were doing this stuff, and he was totally 100% on board for it. So let me turn it over to Jeff, and he can have a few words.
Hey, I'm Jeff, and like I said, like Joey just said, that I've always been interested in the paranormal since I've been little. I've been on a couple investigations of my own, and I'm really glad to join Jody and Gab on investigations now since they brought me on. I've always been into like the Halloween, the season. I love watching horror movies.
Spooky season.
Yeah, I love the spooky season. Who can? Like, everybody loves the spooky season, I would think. I would hope so. I've also been in special effects makeup, doing the gore and all that fun stuff. But I've always been, like I said, invested into the paranormal. Like I said, it's just something I enjoy, and I love watching the shows, and that's what really mostly got me into this.
Yeah, and then we took you on one of our adventures and forced you to get a tattoo. Do you remember that?
I do remember that, and that was like one of the best times of my life. I've always wanted to get a tattoo, and I was like, well, I guess this is time. I'm like, hey, you want an investigation? Why not? Go on
Our first investigation.
Yeah,
first investigation together. Hey, we have a couple hours to kill. What do you guys want to do? Hey, let's go get tattoos.
Yeah, I was like, hey, let's
Jeff's
do this.
first tattoo.
I'm like, hey, let's do this. I love going to I guess we could say the town of Gettysburg, and I love the whole, like I said, the paranormal. And I thought, hey, why not? Let's get the tattoo.
Sweet. So anyway, let's get back on track here.
So there are a number of paranormal podcasts out there, but what makes us special? Why should you guys listen to us?
Oh, she's selling it. Sell us.
So
Dirty, sell us.
our plan is to bring you into our inner circle, right? Share our stories with you from the locations we're investigating, share our evidence with you, give you kind of that inside look. Are you interested in investigating the paranormal? Are you interested in the locations that we're visiting? Maybe you aren't able to, or you plan to at another time travel to these places. You can get an inside look through us at what it's like to investigate there, to visit there, right? We'll share some dark tourism with you along the way, some other things you can do when you visit these locations as well.
Yeah, we should totally talk about food too.
Yeah, we could talk about food, restaurants we
That's
go
out of
to.
nowhere, I know, but yeah.
I agree with that, though.
I like food when I travel. That's part of traveling is food.
I have to say, like we were just talking about that, about going to hotels.
Yeah.
And getting free breakfast.
And the breakfast.
Those damn homemade chips.
Yeah. So yeah, we hope that you will join us. We'll debrief you on our investigations, review our evidence. We will talk about past investigations that we plan to cover. Maybe let you know about some things that we have coming up. And just jump right into the topic for today. What do you guys believe that ghosts or spirits are?
I mean, so, all right, we're trained to believe that ghosts are what? They're disembodied human beings. Voices, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how to approach that. I think that maybe there's something like in between being like a disembodied dead person versus like maybe something that's like left over, something that's like residual and recorded.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Like a deceased loved one.
Well, yeah, but even above, yeah, I mean, not just that, like above the, like the human part of it, how much of it is psychological? How much are you putting into it versus how much is like leftover, like residual energy from when someone passes away or like when they left their mark on, on their space? I don't know. That's my take on it.
Yeah. What about you, Jeff?
What about me? I don't know. I mean, it's tough to say. It could be like what Joey was just saying. Like, it could be like residual. It could be like a repeating, almost like a record that person's attached to still, and it's just constantly just repeating itself over and over and doesn't know it's actually there.
Yeah, so that's a good point, right? Is it there? Is it present? Is it what's the word I'm looking for? Is it intelligent?
Yes.
Is it responding to you? Is it just something that is left over and it's just kind of going about its business as it did when it was alive or whatever? We don't know if some of these things are alive, right? They could have just always been there. They could be part of nature, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Gab?
2 cents, Gab.
Yeah, let's hear about you.
Yeah, I agree, right? It could be the spirit of someone who's passed on, crossed over. It could also be something that we are creating or almost imprinting on an area or an object even, or like even a house, right? When I was in college, one of the first investigations that we would do was something we called Urban Legends Night.
Okay.
And we would split up into a few locations and we would go out and we would investigate. And it was kind of through that that I learned, that one of the places we would go to, there were all these urban legends tied to it, like the woman in white, the bride, the hitchhiker.
Yep, all the classics.
But then when you would start digging into the area, you couldn't find anything to support these claims of what people were saying was at this location. So it's almost like people were going there with these intentions and like leaving some of them there,
Okay.
some of that energy. And then people are going there after and they're kind of picking up on that when they're looking to investigate these areas as well.
So it's like a recording over and over and over, people.
Yeah, in a way.
Well, more not really a recording, but an imprinting.
Yeah.
I think what Gab's getting at, right?
Yeah.
It's from people visiting with that idea in their head of what's going on there, and kind of creating that, leaving that imprint of what's actually going on.
Yeah.
Or what people are claiming is going on at those locations.
Yeah, it's not so much like the energy of the spirit that you're picking up on, but the energy of the people that have visited there in the past and, the intentions that they brought with them as well.
Yeah.
What about talking about different grief theories or customs that we have?
Yeah, that's an interesting one, right? Because people are so willing to want to reconnect with loved ones that have passed away.
Yeah, there was a whole, I guess you could say religious movement about it, right? Spiritualism.
The spiritualism movement. Yeah. Yeah, so, they're so desperate to basically be in contact with people that they've lost out of grief. And they are willing to, a lot of times, jump right into like this belief that what they're experiencing is like 100% their loved ones, right? Which a lot of the times, it comes down to someone taking advantage of these people.
That is true. Yeah.
So, you have to kind of approach all this stuff with a, like an open mind, but you don't want to be putting on a show for people.
Yeah.
Which was a lot of these people in the spiritualist movement did.
Yeah.
They had the photographs, like, the ectoplasm in the air and stuff like that. What was that, Gab? I think you know what they did there?
Cheesecloth.
Oh, and where would they put that? Cheesecloth?
In their lady pocket.
Their lady pocket. And then what would they do?
They would pull it out during the investigation.
Oh boy.
That's a...
Yeah. Yeah. and people didn't think that was weird.
Well, people didn't,
I mean, they were really good at hiding it, I guess, huh?
people didn't really know that's what they were doing. Like, they weren't telling people.
They were good hiders.
Yeah.
And then we had, the sisters, right? The sisters that tapped.
Yeah.
Yeah, they used to, yeah.
They pranked their mom and started a movement.
Yeah. And started tapping their toes or cracking bones.
Hey, whatever works.
Yeah.
Do you know about that, Jeff?
No,
The Fox sisters
no,
that started
I don't, actually. You could actually... you could actually
So they started the spiritualist movement, basically. It was two sisters, and they, at night, would throw apples and things
okay.
on the floor. And then people would come running in to see what the noise was. They had convinced their mother, the other people in the house, that it was spirits that they were able to talk to. There would be knockings and rappings, that they would be able to intelligibly communicate with the spirits in the home. And then they would, and then the mom was so convinced and amazed by this talent that her children had that she began to involve the neighbors.
Oh, okay.
And it turned out basically that, it started out, they would throw these apples and things to prank their mom. And then it kind of escalated into this whole spiritual movement that was basically started on the belief that these girls could truly communicate with spirits when, it was knockings of their joints and their toes.
It was different times back then, too. There's no cameras around constantly, no recording devices around constantly. So who is going to prove the wrong? There's no evidence to go back and review and look at and say, hey, no, these girls might be doing something here. So
yeah. But I think it was later in life. I don't remember if it was one of them or their older sister who they eventually ended up traveling with as well. I don't know if she had disclosed what was actually going on or if they later in their lives disclosed what was going on. But yeah, they had started the whole movement. I mean, they were kind of the start of it all because they were just pranking their mom, and it kind of
escalated,
grew into this whole movement.
Yeah, and that's not why we're here. We're not here to just do all over everybody and say, hey, all this stuff is fake. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, we've all had experiences that are pretty, significant. And it's just, you have to be skeptical when you're investigating these sort of paranormal things. So
yeah.
And I mean, while what they've done may have not been like factual, it still did lead to a whole movement and a number of theories and methods that people are still using to this day to investigate. Have all these
techniques and devices now to research all this stuff. These people started that, so
yeah. And then we could just jump back into grief theories, different customs from around the world. There is something that's called the global dimension. It's a worldwide belief. It's a biological experience of death and dying. Everyone shares it, everyone around the world. We all share the emotions of sadness, of the loss that we experience. And that kind of ties into how we not only experience loss and grief, but then also how we go through our grieving process.
Yeah, and everything that comes after that.
Yeah, everyone's customs, every belief, every tradition that you might have around that. And in our Western world, it's kind of something, you believe you can maybe escape, right? You're kind of living your life with that thought that you can escape the end. The Western belief, we believe, it's better to live a short life, go to heaven, than have a long life and go to hell. This kind of goes against the non-Western beliefs. They believe that death before old age is a disruption of the normal course of life. That's actually brought out by evil spirits or different types of sorcery. And They even have medical evidence that the cause of death would be due to infectious disease, but they still have the belief that it's through either evil spirits or sorcery that causes these people to pass.
Evil spirits.
Always,
evil spirits and wizards and sorcerers.
It's always that.
It's always that, yeah.
Yeah. And there's even the Christian belief that the deceased, they're believed to go to heaven or go to hell or purgatory. And, in these Christian teachings, even, they state that it's God who's determining your location. Once you are deceased, once you're in the afterlife, after your judgment, he's kind of the one who's determining where you go. It's not really something.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of scared now.
So once you're dead, that's it. The guy in the sky with the beard tells you what you get to do.
I'm gonna ask for forgiveness.
Can't lie to God, Jeff. The Almighty.
He knows everything.
But yeah, when you get into it and you start looking at people's beliefs, you learn that everyone kind of has really varied beliefs around not only like death and dying, but grief and burials as well. Native Americans, for the most part, they collectively believe that death is part of the natural cycle of life, is controlled by God or the creator or the great spirit. One specific tribe, the Cree tribe, they view death as a transition. There's a lot expected of both the family and the community. Once someone does reach that point of dying, they all kind of step in and they help the family in different ways. Afro-Caribbean and their indigenous beliefs, they believe that there is a belief in the evil eye. It's associated with their indigenous religions. Certain people can put a spell on others that then leads to certain harm that can include death. In Barbados, where the majority of people are of African descent, many believe in spirits, yet they practice a Christian religion due to colonialism. They don't visit the grave of the deceased loved one due to something that they call duppies. Or jupies. That's a local name for their spirits that inhabitate the cemeteries there. So these spirits come out at night, and the spirit of their wake or the practice of their wake or their gathering that actually doesn't occur until after the funeral because of their strong belief about these duppies or jupies. They believe that there are spirits there. And if they go prior to the wake or the funeral, that these spirits will be there waiting.
I'm sorry, duppies or jupies?
Yeah. Duppies, like guppies.
Guppies?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, it sounds familiar, doesn't it? It should be tied into another word or something like that.
It does, yes. But
what is it though? Like I know,
it's a spirit. It's
like
the
what
name.
I'm saying is it like the difference between we call them a genie, right? But it comes from the word jinn, right? It's a Middle Eastern sort of, I guess a trickster or I guess it'd be trickster, right? Is it one of those? Are those duppies in what? No.
And jupies.
Jupies.
That's interesting. Yep, but continue.
In Haiti, among their voodoo practitioners, there's a belief that God is actually too busy with attending to many other things in the world. So he sends lesser gods or spirits as intermediaries. And this is actually where the voodoo priestess comes in at the ceremonies for the burials, for the funerals.
Okay.
They actually communicate with in Haiti. Among voodoo practitioners, they have the voodoo priestess or the priest who steps in and they act to communicate with the intermediary spirits. In Puerto Rico and Cuba, they have a belief known as espiritismo. I think I'm pronouncing that correct. The existence in a supreme God, also in good and evil spirits. They're able to influence health outcomes and other aspects of people's well-being. The practice involves things like ancestor worship and communicating with dead loved ones. kind of.
Okay, so you see that in like the Philippines and stuff like that.
You see that in a number of places, right? African traditional beliefs, they don't believe in a heaven, a hell, or an afterlife, which I thought was super interesting. They actually have, from all the ones that I've researched and learned about, they have the most interesting beliefs to me.
Okay.
The deceased person will only exist among ancestors in something that they call the other world. Ancestors are worshipped, they're venerated, they're respected by their loved ones.
Is this like something that we saw in like, what was that Marvel movie? Black Panther? Right, where they visit their deceased loved ones and they could kind of commune with them. And,
not really. I mean, maybe in...
we're talking fiction here, people. You know, fictional Marvel movie that I'm comparing this against, but...
Yeah. But yeah, so they believe that there is something called the other world. And then there are also different rules for those who pass away as children that go into the other world. Because of their young age, they don't consider them to be ancestors, and they actually serve a different role once they pass away. So the ancestors are believed, they interact with the living, they're discussed at special occasions, at family events, they continue to hold space for them in their lives, even after they pass away. They're served first. They spill libations onto the ground when they have family events, when they have holidays. They tend to remember them through this type of, spilling of the libations for them. There's a belief in reincarnation, which I also thought was really interesting. So they will return as another human life form, typically children in their own families. And then you will see that our cat is on the table now.
We are getting interrupted. Hello, kitty.
We have animals and
There are animals everywhere.
At least she's not snoring.
And the dog's not passing gas.
I promise you, if you keep listening to this podcast, you will hear the cat snore at some point.
So the interesting thing is, right, they believe that there is reincarnation, that typically you will return as another human life form, typically children in your own family. And the traits of the children at birth, they actually reinforce this belief when they resemble their beloved ancestor who has passed. They actually have names like Ayabo, which actually means mother has returned. So they even tend to name their children things like this to symbolize that they believe that their ancestors are back in another form to kind of, stay within their family units. There is also the belief within the African traditions that crying, denying yourself daily pleasures, wearing black, shaving your head. These are all ways that you express sadness during your bereavement.
I mean, that makes sense, right? I mean, if you're depressed, then you tend to withdraw a little bit when you're depressed, right?
Yeah,
so it's kind of like they're recognizing that. Yeah.
But I feel like it's so different to our beliefs here, like our Western beliefs, right? You're almost like inwardly you grieve, right? Like within your family, within your home.
Yeah, you bottle it up until it turns into cancer. Yeah.
But then when you're outside of your home, you kind of put on this show and this face.
Right.
But it's almost like acceptable to act this way in public in their traditions. If they see you out in public and you're not wearing black and you don't seem sad, they're kind of beginning to question your grief, which I think is really interesting. It's so different to our belief.
Wear it right on your sleeves there. That's what they want.
Yeah.
Yes.
They want grieving people to grieve.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh. What an idea.
Right. I mean, imagine if that was something that we could embrace here in our traditions as well.
Yeah.
There is actually one group, the Ashantis of Ghana. They have burial rituals that include offering sacrifices on behalf of the deceased in the ancestral land. It's appeasement to the ancestors.
Okay, hold on a second. What do you mean? Like, what kind of sacrifices are we talking about here?
There goes Jeff. Jeff goes right to the doctor. Pull their hearts out. They're not doing that, right? No.
Well, I don't think so. No, I don't think that it's like human sacrifices. I think
they don't human sacrifices.
I think it's more like you're offering a sacrifice, like perhaps within yourself.
So it's like, is it like an offering where you leave food or something like that out? Or is it like a sacrifice where you're giving something up in your life? Basically.
It could be giving something up in your life.
Like when you're Catholic, right? And during Lent,
Yeah.
right?
What I read didn't go into the specifics of the sacrifice.
No, you got some work to do.
Yeah, you do. You gotta do some research.
'Cause it sounds like we could have like a whole episode on some of these, huh?
We can
Yeah.
break it
Yeah.
out.
They're so they take these proactive measures to ensure that there's no harm that's brought on the living from what they believe to be called the living dead. There is
Interesting.
also a group in South Africa.
Jeff's eyes lit right up. He's the zombie guy.
Yeah, I'm the zombie guy.
Loves
Like
it.
when he said "Let me down," I was like, "Wait, whoa, hey."
This is an audio podcast where we get to use our sexy voices. So whenever
Sexy.
Jeff rolls his eyes, or like, I'm gonna have to emote over audio.
You do.
Let him know.
I'm actually shocked you caught that. My eyes,
Yeah, his eyes lit right up.
they lit right up. I guess.
Nice.
Yeah,
Guy like zombies,
yeah, nice and blue.
dead reanimated people. Are zombies ghosts, Jeff?
That's all. Everybody knows me as like the zombie guy.
Yeah, have you seen that thing online where they ask the question? Ooh, sorry. Can
Punch that mic.
can you get a ghost and a zombie from the same person?
Huh.
We're going a little off the rails here, but
Yeah, we are going on.
Let me.
Hey, that's what usually
indulge.
happens. That's what usually happens. We, things,
Yeah.
we go off the rails.
Well, so when you when you become zombified, right?
Yes.
The person's gone, right?
Yeah, but yeah,
So you'd assume there's no soul that's left too, right? That's
There's-
gone. The
it's all-
soul's gone.
it's
all
gone,
They're
yeah.
just a freaking meat stick walking around.
pretty much
Eat brains.
just rotting away.
So where does the ghost go? Do you think the ghost is like hanging out, being like, "Holy fuck! Like look what I've become. I'm eating that lady's head now."
It's like, well, don't.
That's
Why am I
what
eating?
they
Why?
say.
It's like, why am I eating this? Don't eat that. Eat something
Yeah.
better.
That's what they say. Like the ghost hangs around and watches the zombie and is like, "What the heck are you doing?"
it's a very deep conversation here.
that could go like in very long distance like conversation here. This could go along.
That one could go.
This could
yeah.
go all night.
Yeah, mark that one down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just taking notes.
We're gonna bring that back as a whole other episode.
Amateur
We'll circle it back.
podcasters over here.
This is our first episode.
It is our first
It is our first.
We're giving herself ideas.
I hope you enjoy.
Do you guys want to hear more of different customs?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Yes, please continue.
I don't have to if you
No,
want to.
that's fine. No.
I only have two left.
I saw
learning stuff.
Jody's eyes lit up.
When I said there was more.
I'm learning stuff. I like to learn things. I don't like to read. She likes to read.
I know. Yes, you told me. Yes.
I like to
I
read.
don't like to read. I like to read audiobooks.
I mean, does that count as reading?
Yes.
Don't look at me. I'm not going to get in the middle of this.
I mean, does it count as reading or is it like you're listening?
It's reading.
It is reading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to read the books otherwise. So like if I'm like working, I wouldn't be able to work and read a book at the same time, right? But I could work and listen to an audiobook. So
Yeah,
I
that is
love
true.
it. I
Yeah.
love it. I'm reading. In my brain, I'm reading.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So you want me to go back to my
Yeah.
last two?
Yes.
Hold
Yes.
on one
Custom?
second. I have one more thought. No, I'm joking. Go on. You could.
You can just finish this.
I've interrupted you.
Do you guys want to read them?
I don't read.
You're doing very well.
So, two left.
We're gonna
Two
follow your
left.
lead, all right?
Within
Maybe you
the,
could teach me how to research one of these days.
well, I don't know because you make fun of me when I use that word.
Do you really?
Well, I googled that.
I don't just Google it though. I mean, I literally do research on
Yeah,
it.
you do have access to like publications and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I really feel this is picking up now.
Yeah,
Picking up.
we hit a stride.
Picking up.
We
Yep.
just try- This is what we do. Gabrielle's the researcher here. Like
She
she's very,
is.
very good at that stuff.
Yeah, she is.
Jeff's our creative guy.
I am.
I am not creative. I'm
I just
kind of a
like to.
doer.
I like to research and then just regurgitate what I learn.
Yeah, she loves that.
I do.
College.
Even if you don't want to hear it, I'm gonna tell you. Do you know what I learned?
The whole,
Do you get
the
that?
whole room is just staring at her, wondering when she's going to shut up.
So in the Islamic faith,
After the 10th interruption.
Yes.
but yes, bear with us. 2 facts left. Are you ready?
Sure.
In the Islamic faith, they expect parents to find comfort in the child's innocence and that the child has gone to pave the way for the parents to enter paradise. I think that's kind of sweet.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And in Judaism, hell does not exist. They also have a custom in their faith that ensures proper burial. They have what's called a burial society. It is, okay, I'm going to try to pronounce it. I did research how to pronounce this. Hevra Kadisha. If I pronounce that wrong, honestly, people can correct me.
Henry who?
It's Hevra Kadisha.
Well, I mean, it's important that you tried.
Yes.
I'm not going to correct you because I have no idea how that's.
I mean,
how
I
to say that.
don't think it's important that I tried. I think it's important to get it right.
That is important.
You tried.
But
She did.
so basically, it's their burial society. And what they do is it's a group of volunteers of both men and women. And they ensure that the body is ritually cleansed and shrouded prior to the burial. Could you imagine having something like this again within our society? Where not only are you like expected on your own to grieve, right? You're running out, you're going to the funeral home, you're kind of managing everything on your own. But then you also have then this burial society that steps in and they can help you with different things as they come up. Right? Like they can help to take care of the body. Maybe they can help with funeral arrangements while you're able to do other things that.
Well, I mean, it's kind of the same thing, right? When it's using Christianity, Catholicism, right?
Yeah.
You're not sitting there preparing the body, and a lot of times you're not even preparing or doing the work to set up the luncheon or anything like that, right? You're basically hiring people to do that,
That's true.
right?
True. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so it's similar,
In a way.
but you're saying they have like the society, so this is like a group.
Yeah, and they typically come together to help to prepare the body for burial through like different rituals and
Okay.
And is this like a statewide thing, or is this like
it's just within the faith of Judaism.
That's cool. I'd like to learn more about that.
That is interesting.
I also like to learn about other people's cultures. So
Yeah,
this
she
is
does.
really yeah. It's so interesting that people do different things than me. And I just think it's so interesting
Because
and I
what?
like to
You
learn
are
about it.
boring and what?
And vanilla.
Boring and vanilla. That's a good way of putting it. Boring and vanilla.
Hey, look, I got a cat right here by me. I got.
So my last thing that I have prepared for the episode is a question
Oh
for
boy.
you guys. How
I don't know. Before you ask the question here, right?
do you want to hear more facts about people's
No. That's enough for this episode. So we started with, what do you guys think ghosts are, right?
Okay.
And then we get into talking about just death and dying, right?
Yes.
When are we going to start talking about different cultures, like beliefs in the paranormal?
We could do that. We could explore that.
Yeah, is that a later on thing, or you have some?
Yeah, I mean, you could give me like homework.
Oh, she loves
She has
homework.
research. She has to
That's
go do
her
her work.
jam.
Yeah.
Yes.
That could be like another episode or two.
I did actually just start following someone. I think it was Instagram.
Mhm.
And I think he lives in India and he's like a paranormal investigator.
That's interesting.
That
Yeah.
is very interesting.
Yeah, that culture is very open to a lot of things, right? So, yeah, that's interesting. I'd like to hear more about that later on.
I could definitely research into it for another episode.
Yeah, why not?
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, what's next? What's on the old agenda here?
So a question for you guys.
Oh boy,
Yep, here we go.
is this the blind side question?
Yeah. Yeah. I have.
Are we gonna make that a thing?
What,
Yeah. We're going to make it a thing.
Are you gonna like answer the question as well, or is it just for me?
Yeah, but she's prepared. We are not.
We were not.
Are we going to do this? Are we going to do this like on every episode? Are we going to?
I'm going to try. So I'm not.
Are you gonna just blindside us?
Yeah, with one question every episode.
And we're going to call it Gabby's Blindside, right?
No, I think of it more of like an improvisational question.
Yeah, I love it. It's a great idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a bunch prepared.
Do we get to get you every once in a while too?
Yeah, you could if you want.
Oh, okay.
I don't prepare an answer. I just prepare the question, and then I feel like we all just kind of.
No. I get that. I'm saying, do we get to do that to you eventually too?
Yeah, you could prepare them if you want.
Frickin' slap one up on you and be like, "What do you think?"
Yeah, what do you think it is?
Yeah, we could all answer it. That could be interesting.
Okay.
I have maybe 10 of them that I came up with so far.
Oh my gosh.
She has 10.
So that's 10 episodes worth.
At least someone's prepared.
Are we prepared? I thought we were prepared. Nah, maybe not.
I think we like to talk.
Yeah.
Jeff has notes.
Well, hey,
Jody doesn't.
That was just like right now, like before we all started.
Waving my head.
He's rolling his eyes.
Your God.
So my question today for you guys, right off the cuff, no prep.
Oh boy. I'm getting the sweats.
What is a way that you try to manage your emotions?
The door's closed and the heat's on. Okay, sorry.
Okay, I thought it was just me.
This is what we do. Gab tries to ask questions and we just interrupt. It's horrible.
Yeah.
We don't have self-control.
We can't. It just happens. What can we do?
Did you take your Ritalin today, Jeff?
I don't know.
You don't know.
All right, so let's hear. What's your question again?
What is a way that you try to manage your emotions while you're out on paranormal investigations?
Oh, this is a good one. So, let me talk about when my first experience, I guess, is, like when you're a young kid, you're farting around with this kind of stuff. And you do stupid stuff in the woods, like you go and you light candles and you have a seance or something like that.
Were you doing that with your friend?
I was.
Were you really?
Yes, I was.
How old were you?
I don't know, probably 14, 15, 16.
Okay.
We were like adults, though, because we were like smoking a pack of cigarettes by the time we were 14.
I was going to say like 7.
I wasn't smoking when I was 7. 7. You probably did, because you're like a horror movie guy. I was never a horror movie person.
What?
I wasn't. My wife really got me into it. I mean, I liked it when I was a little older, but when I was a younger person, like, nah.
Can you recall your first like horror movie as a child? God, Killer Clowns from Outer Space was like the first one that comes to mind. I literally just looked at the box that's sitting on my shelf here. Oh, you do?
And my God, that terrified me. Them peeling the cotton candy off the faces and the bloody...
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Little popcorn... Little popcorn freaking caterpillars that would turn into little jack-in-box thing. Oh, I hated that. I watched it every single time it was on.
Did it give you nightmares?
Yeah, of course it did. Horrible. But anyway, so like doing stupid stuff in the woods when you're a kid, and like you talk to spirits and stuff, and you're just really goofing around. There's no scientific method for it. You didn't have any devices. You were just talking to yourself in the woods, right? Then the wind would blow and the candle would blow out, and you're like, oh my God, what do we do? Like that's like back then I was terrified, but it was like a thrill. You did it to be terrified. Now that I'm like older now and I'm starting to do this stuff, again, using a scientific method. When I say scientific method, it's like all the tools that are available to us. Everybody knows them, right? You have the K2 meter, and you have your REM pods,
the EMF,
spirit box, all that stuff. Like I'm not as scared of it as I used to be, because I'm able to put myself in a place now where I can put myself in a state where I'm looking at it more objectively, right?
I can think of a time, when we were all at that local place we go to here, and I had gotten my emotions. I could not control them, and you guys were like, "You need to stop it because you're scaring us."
Yeah.
yeah. I do recall, recall that.
That happens. Yep.
I do recall that.
Yeah, we had to basically run out of there late at night. It was dark, and I wasn't scared, but she was terrifying me.
Yeah. I mean, but like, I do have to agree with you on the whole being in the woods as like, teenager, or you're going to like abandoned places. And back when you're like a teenager at that age, it seems like, oh my God, like
you're doing it.
Oh yeah. Like
for adrenaline.
Yes. Yeah.
You're doing it for that dopamine that's flooding through your brain. Right?
Yes. And now like being like, as of my age now,
don't let Jeff fool you either. He still does it for that shit. Cause I've seen him do it.
Not all the time.
He giggles a lot.
Do I?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
but no, like even now at this age, like it's more like I'm more calm and I'm more relaxed in the situation, in the environment. But then sometimes it does, like something might happen.
How about when you first started doing investigations with us versus now?
Ooh.
So to put that in perspective, that's about a year now.
Has it been about,
it's been about a year.
I would say maybe about a year. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like, probably it's a lot more calmer with like being with you guys.
I agree.
Yeah.
You were giddy as shit when you first started.
Oh man, I love, like I said, I love enjoying doing this kind of work and doing this kind of investigation stuff. I love paranormal. So I've always been, like I said, as a child, like I've always been wanting to know what's out there, if it's true, if it's real or not, So
what was your first scary movie when you were a kid? How old were you and what was the first movie?
Oh my God. I could recall this. It was Poltergeist.
Oh, that's a good one.
And I was young. And I remember the whole scene with the clown in the kids' boys' room.
Clowns now. Back to clowns.
Yeah.
And that really freaked me out. And then, growing up, like we actually had a clown that kind of looked like that clown from the movie, and I hated that thing. Hated it.
And how old were you say?
How old was I when I saw that? I was
roundabout.
I want to say, God, that was probably like maybe 6, 7.
Yeah, not a kid's movie.
Did you watch it as an adult, and was it as scary as you remember it?
I did watch it as an adult.
It's Spielberg, right? So it's like cutesy paranormal. There's no way it's.
I watched it, but yeah, it didn't affect me the way it did when I was a child. But like I said, like the clown thing, yes, because like we had
growing arms.
Yes, it came up. Yeah, and then like I said, growing up, like we had a stuffed clown that looked exactly like that, and I hated that.
Everybody had one of those when they were a kid. Their parents were like, "Yep, this is the gift we give our kid when they turn like 6 or something like that."
Yeah,
the clown that sits in the rocking chair in the corner of your room.
Yeah, really.
And then you go watch that movie, and you're like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna die."
And then my parents found it eventually when I was a little bit older, and then they put it in my bedroom. And I remember throwing it.
Childhood trauma.
Yeah.
He still has it in his bedroom now.
He probably does.
I do now. Now I do. Because like.
Mine was Pet Cemetery.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I think
you're breaking away from the clown theme here.
You are.
Yeah, I am. I am also afraid of clowns.
But how old were you when you saw that movie?
Probably about 6 or 7.
Okay.
My mom liked horror movies, and she liked scary things, and she was kind of like my gateway into everything.
Okay.
And so at night she liked to stay up late, so she would be up watching a scary movie, and if I came down, she would have it on, and I would sometimes be able to watch them with her. Sometimes, she'd like shoo me back up. But that's one of the first scary movies I can actually remember watching. And I know I was too young to watch it.
And that's not just scary. That's like a psychological mind fuck too, right? Because it's basically like, it's like a, I don't know, like a changeling sort of story, isn't it? Like,
I mean, I wouldn't go that far.
The person is not the person anymore, right? They kind of go away and then they come back and they're different. Yikes.
Yeah.
Yikes.
But that, I mean, here I am still, right? I mean, it's my favorite genre of movie. It's not like it ruined it and I'm afraid.
How do you feel about clowns?
I'm afraid of clowns, yeah.
Are we all afraid of clowns? Can we say yes to this?
Yeah, yes, 100%.
Yep. Yes, but mine goes, Eli Roth had that, like trailer that he made for the movie. It was like Clown, right? It was like a fake trailer, I think it started.
Okay.
And then he made a real trailer and a real film called Clown. And I watched the trailer and I had a nightmare that night.
Huh.
I've never had like a nightmare from a scary movie until I watched that. And it was basically like I was living the trailer and it was so scary. I woke up sweating. My heart was pounding. I convinced myself I could not watch the movie because I was afraid that I would like have a heart attack. I would be that scared to watch the movie.
I never felt that way ever with a horror movie or watching anything scary.
So I get myself worked up about a movie and I'll be
You
like...
get worked up about a lot.
But yes, I can work myself up about a movie and then I watch it and I'm like, oh, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, but I'd have to say my favorite horror movies are definitely like those like the paranormal supernatural type movies. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like those. Like the hell with the slasher stuff. Like it's fun, it's entertaining, but I really like a good paranormal haunting sort of movie, you know?
Like a Paranormal Activity kind of style like that? Or
Yeah, I guess so. Like not that like found footage as much, but
yeah.
I like the I'm Catholic, so I have a lot of my upbringing kind of like sculpted that.
Yeah.
So I like The Conjuring.
I was gonna say, okay, I get the Conjuring. Okay.
Yeah.
I like supernatural religious horror.
Yeah,
I think
that's what I'm going for. Yeah.
Yeah. Like there's scary movies, but I feel like that one scares different.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm just gonna go with zombies.
Always zombies.
Whatever the question.
I've seen Dead Dead when I was like 10 years old. I remember watching that at 10 years old. And that was kind of crazy.
How do you feel about jean jackets?
Ooh, hey. Are we talking like battle jacket here?
That is an inside joke. None of you get that.
Nobody will never get that. Unless that person is listening.
I wonder too, like, is there a correlation between how early you start to watch zombie movies and your appreciation for zombie movies? Like, if you watch them early, do you like them more than if you watch them later? Because I personally, like, Jeff loves zombies, right? He's a big zombie fan. And I personally feel like the zombie is the one monster that just always has to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't save the zombie.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like they just always have to go. Like Dracula can be a vampire and, different monsters can do different things. But the zombie, all they want to do is eat.
That's all they want to do is just eat constantly. Never stop.
It's a curse.
It's a curse.
Anyway, so
is everything a curse?
Let's bring it back full circle now.
So do you guys think, right, back to the question, right, at hand, how do you manage your emotions? Do you feel like paranormal investigating gives you this kind of like rush, like this like adrenaline that nothing else 100%. Matches?
Yes.
Well,
I don't know about not anything else, but yeah.
I say
what matches it?
I don't ski because I will die. And I don't do anything that's like...
I agree with you on that.
Yeah, no. Nothing crazy that, gets my adrenaling going. Because
I don't need a broken leg or anything.
Yeah, well, that.
And especially hitting a tree and dying.
So, yeah, I mean, it's I want to say it's like my safe way.
Yeah, I get that.
To get that head rush a little bit.
So I think it's interesting for Jeff's perspective too, because you had your first investigation with us like, what, 6-7 months ago?
Trying to think. That was a Gettysburg, right?
That was the Gettysburg trip, yep.
So that would have been...
June.
That was June.
Yeah, it was June.
Yeah, that was June.
Almost coming up on, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So, like, do you feel like it gives you a rush that nothing matches?
Yes, I do. It does give me a different rush. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just because he's weird, though.
No, I think it really does. Like,
no,
are we all
previously agreed? Yes, I think it does.
It does. Like,
it's fun.
It is.
It's a hobby. It's something to do.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
And you're kind of like pushing boundaries too. Like it's safe, but you're not safe. You know what I mean? Like you kind of push that boundary of your safety.
You kind of want to make it safe, but you don't want to.
Yeah, you still got that little teenager inside you, right? That wants to
Go into the woods with the Ouija board and candles with your friends and have seances.
Yes.
Jody feels that every day.
He fights the urge every day to go into the woods.
I'll do it right now.
So
How was that though? Like honestly, how do I, from your perspective, Gab? How have I changed from when you first started dragging me out to this stuff?
Ooh, I have to listen to this one.
I think it's really interesting to see how you have really taken to like certain methods to investigate. Like you like to go into the investigation without knowing the history of things, whereas I like to really research the history. And then, you know, we'll sit down and we'll do whether like it's a spirit box session or an Estes method, like not knowing the history, but you're hitting on things that are in the history and going above and beyond things that even I learned at times. Remember that, Jeff? That happened at Jenny Wade's house? We were like learning things that we didn't know.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a great investigation, by the way.
It was fun.
That was.
Yeah. Amazing tour guide too. The guy that stayed there with us.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. He was very cool.
So he was able to fill us in on some of the stuff. We were picking up on the Estes on the spirit box, and he was giving us the history after the fact, and it was pretty interesting.
That'll be another episode we'll get into.
Yep.
Yeah, that was definitely
Jenny Wade's investigation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely its own episode or two.
Part 1, part 2.
Yeah. I feel like we could do a whole episode on
You're
just
on
the history.
Episode 1 now, and you're talking about 2-parters. How about a mini series?
I'm sorry, we're not allowed to have more than 3 episodes.
Okay, Jody. Bad.
This is a limited series, folks.
By Jody.
I'm not limiting anything.
But
How do you guys feel since I joined working with you guys in investigations?
I enjoy
I
it.
hate it. It's very cringy. No,
I'm glad I made you feel that way.
As I mentioned, I worked with Jeff professionally in the past, and I'm glad to have him on board, to have someone who has a different perspective from Gab and I.
I really like having Jeff on the team. I think it's fun to get his perspective and his insight, and you know, it's interesting because he's newer to this too, to investigations. So it's only been a few months, and it's really interesting kind of to see that and see, you know, like what he picks up on in investigations. And, you know, Jeff has also started making some equipment as well.
I have, yes. Yeah.
That we use in investigations.
Yeah, he's a solder. He could use this soldering iron.
Soldering iron.
I am not good with that stuff. Put a computer in front of me, I'll do whatever, but Jeff's the creative guy. He's good for the graphic design, and he's good for the, like building his little toys, but that is not for me. Not to say I wouldn't mind learning, but yeah.
Well, I'm really glad to be on this journey.
Yeah, it's definitely fun. I'm glad that we're finally taking this
To the next step, right?
step. And yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes.
Same.
Do you have anything else you want to add about the group?
I don't think so. No.
We have an email or anything like that? You want to
Facebook or...
Yeah, you can follow us on Facebook, Hallowed Ground Paranormal Research and Investigations. We're also at Instagram, Hallowed Ground Paranormal Research and Investigations. I have my own separate account on both, Paranormal Social Worker. I kind of tailor things to be more, aligned with social work values and beliefs.
And as we go, we'll update like notes in the show notes and email addresses, anything like that as we get going. So
yeah, we'll send links in there to different articles that I find for research and things. We are planning to have these episodes on a monthly basis, 1 episode per month at this time. So, check back next month. Stick around with us. We talk to ourselves in the dark, so you don't have to.
Sit back and enjoy.
We will.
Don't do anything we would do.
Yeah, don't do anything we would do. We would bring you along, let you know of our investigations, share evidence with you. So stick around, see what we have.
You could just join us on this journey as we go.
Yeah, join us on this journey.
is this when we high five and peace out now?
Sure.
We throw our like Power Rangers.
Power Rangers.
All right, guys. Thanks for spending time with us. We're out.
Adios.